Yuri, Candace, Hannah, Alicia, right? Okay. Basically, we did our project on recycling and all of the issues around recycling. We don't start out talking about recycling. We start out talking about where we come from and why we are in such a bad condition starting out. So, Yuri's gonna start us out.
Okay. Well, we want to talk about the history of recycling. How did this come about? This process. Why is it important from the beginning? Now, recycling has always been part of human history. We've always done recycling in different ways. It used to be a way of life. And advocates of recycling date back all the way to Plato, and through his philosophical teachings, he advocated for recycling. As far back as 400 BC, and during periods of scarce resources, archaeologists found that we cut back on new products and we recycle more. During the Great Depression, it was actually more common for people to recycle. They had to divvy out resources because people had to survive, so it was more important then. Well, do you want to say it's not as important now because, or after the fact that sorry, I'll go back. But after we got kind of, or we recovered from the Great Depression, and we had, the great economic prosperity. We stopped caring so much about it, and they began marketing fresher, newer, and cooked daily. So when restaurants say that they're cooking fresh food every day, is that they're throwing stuff out too. So we're all, we're all now in this consumerism age. Now, garbage is a global problem. One of the biggest and most astonishing things is that we're all collecting garbage in the middle of the ocean. I couldn't get like a number. I looked at a lot of places, like a certain number of how much garbage, how many tons of garbage we throw away every single day, but I do know that there's about 20,000 tons of garbage floating just in the North Sea, and plastic bags and other items like the six-packs things. There's about there's so much out there in the ocean that kills about 1 million sea creatures every year. Now these garbage islands that are forming in the middle of the ocean, we throw away garbage and it ends up in the ocean, and because of the currents, they collect it all, and it all ends up in this area. It's it's called the North Pacific Convergence Zone. I'm sorry, Ocean Garbage Patch. And it's all collected in the middle.
Okay. Tip of the iceberg, not a real iceberg, but maybe if we think about it. From what she was talking about in old times, just connecting what she said, we did not used to be the way we are today, but we are here anyway, and the reasons we are is because we have more dependence on non-renewable energy. Non-renewable energy, excuse me, is stuff like fossil fuels, mining for all those things. And if you don't know much about fossil fuels is all the coal, all the things we get from the ground. Those are like dead, really, really, really dead old fossils. years and years and years, billions of years of old resources that the planet had, and it's basically like gone into a reserve deposit, if you can think of it like that. Or like how you think of an underwater reservoir, that's the same thing we do with coal, with mining those fossil fuels out. So we use those things, we get them out, and actually we have to find a market for them. So here comes industrialization. Industrialization basically is marketing everything we possibly can to anyone who will buy it. Let's say plastics, for example. If you don't know, plastics is a petroleum product which is made from fossil fuels. So, of course, we have our cars. Of course, we have all this big transportation. Of course, we use it for energy in millions of ways. But we also find other ways to sell it to ourselves. We sell it back to ourselves, and that's created a huge market for industrialization. And from that market of industrialization, we get what's called conspicuous consumption. Conspicuous consumption is the idea that you can always get more. You don't need to, save it. You don't need to reuse it. You can always get another thing. And it's not just that you always can get another thing, but that we want you to. We encourage you to get another thing instead of, let's say we start with diapers. Babies' diapers didn't used to be disposable. Now they are. Let's say we start with something that's nicer. Your iPhone. Who bought an iPhone, when it first came out and said, okay, this is it. This is what I like. And then another one came out, and now you have to get that one, or you have to buy the newest gadgets to go with it. So conspicuous consumption, they prod us, they want us to buy more of these things that are feeding into industrialization. So population growth has occurred through all this conspicuous consumption, and throughout the last couple hundreds of years, we've actually doubled in size in the whole world as far as population. People, we've doubled in size. So now the industries have way more people to market to. So of course they're getting very rich. And what they do to us is give us a manufactured desire. Manufactured desire is me telling you there's some problem with you, or I can make you better. Like, your hair isn't long enough. I can give you nice, long, shiny hair. Your nails aren't long enough. I can give you nice, beautiful nails. You don't have the right dress. Men, you're not as desirable as you could be. So let me show you how to dress so that you can be more desirable to men or whomever. And with all that, we have great wealth and great poverty has been created. Interrelated problems that all of this stuff has caused. Illness and disease. Doesn't matter where you are or where you live, illness and disease is rampant. One example, there is a particular group, it's in the BMC Public Health Global Health, their basic plan was to draw attention to the global community. What happened here is 3 people died and 300 people became ill. They got infected with typhoid fever. It was a community outbreak because their water system got contaminated. And how their water system got contaminated was trash. Basically, they explain it in short. Trash. They were dumping in a particular area. They didn't have what we call adequate sewage, and a lot of people ended up getting very, very sick and people died. Depletion of natural resources. We have the rainforest, we have our waterways and oceans, our animals being killed daily, and all the things that we call beautiful are being depleted. Non-biodegradable products are being sold at an increasingly crazy rate. Like I said, the plastics, the things that you have in your home that you cannot, even if you send them to a landfill, they're not going to magically become some reusable entity. They're not going to break down and become something, or another animal can't eat it and get some energy from it. Nothing can happen with most of the products that we use today. So they're not biodegradable. If we throw them in the trash or we throw them in a landfill, they just sit there. They don't change. Nothing happens to them. Unless an animal comes along and eats it, of course, and it dies from it. Mass pollution, like she said, water, land, air, they're all being polluted at an amazing rate. And one thing I want you to remember about this is we're all connected. Everything is connected. You're connected to me, I'm connected to the land, to the water, to the air. There's nothing that we can do to get away from, let's say, the polar bears. The polar bears in some way have some effect on us, and we have an effect on it. So the world is interconnected. And attitudes of infinity and superiority basically is saying we somehow have came to believe that we're superior to all other life forms, all animals, all other beings, and that we have an infinite supply to them, so we can use them however we want to. We can destroy them, we can cause them to have any kind of problems, and those issues in turn will not affect us, even though we eat them and we grow our food on that land. We somehow believe it won't affect us. And these are actually talking about what I've already said. Okay.
So, along with all those problems of the earth and everything in history, this is the general reason why you should recycle. Everybody knows it conserves energy, conserves our valuable natural resources, saves clean water and air, and saves landfill space, which is where all your trash goes when you don't recycle it, and that takes up a lot of space on this planet. Each ton of paper, to make a ton of paper, takes 17 trees, 380 gallons of oil, 4,000 kilowatts of energy, and 7,000 gallons of water, just to make 1 ton of paper, which is, I mean, a ton is like a little bit about an elephant. Like an elephant that's half of them. An elephant is huge. So think about that in terms of it. Instead, to make recycled paper costs 64 less energy and 58% less water than if we were to make all new paper. So the trash doesn't just go away like Candace says, it goes somewhere, like to the river if you have to throw it away there, or it can be burned, buried, recycled, dumped, but it goes somewhere, and so that can contaminate your rivers and cause all those problems. Disposable diapers, like she said before, if we recycle them, then maybe that would be good. I mean, nobody wants to recycle diapers, but it would benefit this earth probably, because otherwise they just sit there and last centuries. Like, they don't biodegrade at all and go anywhere. And they go through 8,000 diapers, one single baby does, at least. So that's a lot of diapers for a lot of babies, and so also recycling a stack of newspapers is just 3 feet high, can save 1 tree. So about to right here, maybe, that saves 1 tree of paper. So that's pretty crazy. When you recycle, obviously that's old things, your old items, and then when you recycle them, they can become new items. Some of these are one thing. Obviously, like general old newspapers become new newspapers. Those are just general things. Boxes become new boxes, everything like that. But like your scrap paper that you throw away can be used for something else, like egg cartons, tissues, paper towels, stuff like that. You don't really think about what it could be made into, but everything that you recycle is made into something else, obviously. Grocery bags that you recycle, like paper ones or plastic ones, made into new mail wrappings, magazines, catalogs, like the magazines you read every day, Cosmo, Sports Illustrated, all of those came from something being recycled, most likely. So you could be making more magazines if you recycled them for you to read. Toy boxes and shoe boxes become new cereal boxes, soap boxes, drink cartons, things like that.
Okay, e-cycling. What this is what do you do with your old electronics? Twice a year, Valdosta Public Works and Keep Lounge of Valdosta Beautiful and Atlanta Recycling Solutions throw this event where you take like old computers, laptops, testing equipment, modems, CDs, like anything you would use for electronics, and you just donate them, and what they do is they recycle and make new products with them. And some of the things they don't accept are car batteries, vacuum cleaners, refrigerators, washer and dryers, like the big bulky stuff, they want the smaller stuff. And if you miss these 2 days out of the year, what you can do is call Office Depot and Best Buy, and they can set up a time for you to come and bring those things in. And what it does is it reduces the amount of mercury and lead that goes into the water streams, and it just helps preserve Valdosta. Okay, going green. This is something that Valdosta has started, and what it is trying to do is make it easier for people to recycle. What they're doing is, instead of back in the day where you would have a section for paper and plastic and glass, now you can put it all in your blue bin and they'll come and pick it up. And what it does is it helps reduce things. And they also ask you to, turn off your lights when you're leaving the house. Use less water, when you're brushing your teeth, leave the water off and then turn it on to rinse your mouth, like that type thing. Here are some of the things that you can't recycle, and that's like pizza boxes, paper plates, tissues, napkins, light bulbs, dishes, plastic toys, that stuff they don't want. But as long as it's blue, green, or brown for glass, you're good. And cardboard boxes, you can recycle. Shoe boxes, you can recycle. Anything for aluminum cans to pretty much, the stuff that you can rinse out, like milk jugs. They want to keep it clean. They don't want to eat all bugs and stuff. So as long as you can keep the glass, paper, and all that clean, they'll pretty much pick it up for you. And because of the Care Environment Corporation, they'll do this for free for you. All you have to do is go get the blue bin and just put those things in.
Earth Day is actually a big proponent of recycling because it was a kind of like a marking point when we went back to caring about the environment. The first Earth Day was, or organized Earth Day was in 1970, and from this came the recycling logo that we all know. It was created by a student at the time from Wisconsin. He was just like us, and he entered the art contest for a new logo for recycling. And here you see some people in the recycling movement. A lot of students in the universities, what they did was go to school with gas masks on, showing their that air and all of our environment is being polluted, so why not wear a gas mask, because that's how serious it can get. Also, some of the legislation for the protection of the environment came from this also. It actually achieved a rare political alignment of Republicans and Democrats, rich people and poor people, and labor leaders and tycoons. They all came together and, in this movement and created legislation like the Clean Air, Clean Water, and Endangered Species Act. Back then, there was about 20 million Americans that took the streets in protest. Streets in New York were blocked off, and they showed a movement that people really cared about this, and a movement for interdependency, meaning that we all depend on each other. What you do, how you litter, how you live your life affects me, and vice versa. So we all need to take care of each other, not only for this generation, but also for generations to come. And as we were talking about legislation, there's a huge legislative movement back then, and then we kind of let off again because we had economic prosperity again, so we just didn't care as much. Right now, there's no legislation or any kind of movement in Georgia for what you would call a bottle bill or e-waste bill. What a bottle bill is and e-waste is practically the same thing. Although we do have encouragement to do these things, we're not. But these bills help encourage that. It encourages recycling of plastic containers and bottle, any kind of plastic or glass containers by putting a monetary value on it. Because money, would encourage us to do these things. There's a lot of these laws, state laws across the country. California was one of the first, state to do that. Like in most cases, they usually, are the first to experiment with these types of laws. And here is a chart of how the bottle bill would encourage recycling. It's kind of, I get confused sometimes. I'm trying to think about it myself, but it kind of goes around. We pay for the container. There's like a deposit, and then it goes back to the distributor, and everyone along the line kind of pays for it. And then if you return the bottle back, the money comes back to you.
Okay, we have to wrap this up. We know peer-reviewed articles. Not going to tell you so much about this because we only have a few minutes. But basically, it's something about what motivates us. And like she said, when you get money back, that motivates you. But one of these studies said that attitudes and norms motivate us even more. So when there's social norms that say this is how we should be, then we identify with that personally as ourselves, and then we tend to do it more. And also when it's very accessible. You can say, I'm gonna save money if I recycle, but if you put the recycling bin right there by my house, I'm more likely to recycle. So that's what that study says. This is a thing of other issues related, and we were gonna do a question and answer, but we don't have time. Obesity, exploitation, addictions, and eventually death. Death of people, death of the planet, death of animals, death of our cells. Everything dies because we don't care about it.
That was a picture of things that you can do to recycle. They're jewelry and things like that. Sometimes you don't want to wear things from like jewelry like this, but things that can be made from recycled products. But this one was the coolest to me. This is like fencing that you can purchase directly made from things like Capri Sun packets. And it doesn't look bad. It looks just like a new product that you would buy somewhere and pay lots of money for. Now, the global recycling efforts. Once you look at the problem, you think, okay, this is awful. We're like, basically abusing the world. And then I was looking through the efforts. I thought that it might be like a positive thing. We're trying, but we're actually not trying that hard. In Europe, Austria is actually the leader in recycling their products. About 60% of its waste is being recycled, and Greece is the least. And then what I want to get to is that they actually, the United States recycles just as much as as Greece, which is the least recycling in Europe.
So locally, like Anna said, like people are more likely to recycle if it's accessible, if it doesn't cost money, if you could benefit from it. So the things you could do, like in Valdosta, if you live in Lowndes County, you have two options. You can take your recycling and you pay $100 for a permit, and you can take it to approved locations that county has told you these are accessible for you. Like you pay this $100 permit and you can take them there. But you can't take commercial waste, which is like you're redoing your house and you're knocking out walls, ripping up carpet. They don't accept that. They don't accept things from like stores, stuff like that. Your other option is Viola Environmental Services, which is like a huge recycling company like that does things all over the world, in Georgia, everything. I meant the country, not the world. And to do that in the county is $3. You pay $3 a month. They give you your own can, which is kind of a tiny, tiny picture, but maybe you can see it, of like the trash cans, and then they pick it up for you once a week. Neighborhoods like Stone Creek do that. I've housed it in there, and everybody in the neighborhood almost does Veolia recycling through there. So it's cheaper to do it that way, and it's probably more convenient for everybody, so that's an accessible option.
These are some of the places where you can take your recycling to, and most of them, you know, there might be a little fee or no fee at all. Like she said, a lot of people can do the $3 ones or pay the $100. And if you want to go to one of these sites, you contact the city of Valdosta from 6 a.m. to 5, and the number is 229-259-3588, and they can help you which location is best for you, where to go, how to set it up, and tell you all what you can do. For residential, it's free. All you have to do, you pay a monthly fee on your water bill. So as long as you have a water bill, you know, you can recycle. You just go pick up your blue bin and start recycling.
At VSU, the Save Club decided that they wanted to start up recycling here. It started in April 2007. When they decided they wanted to do this, they got together with the Public Works that does recycling for the city, and they made a plan, and now they will allow us to recycle, and that's where you see all the recycling bins all over campus. And the location is on Tomb Street, right by the bursary.
Okay, education, well, education equals, well, I guess I should talk about what stewardship is. Stewardship is actually an ethic, it's an ethic that embodies responsible planning and management of resources, and we should start this at the lowest levels of education, from from elementary school on up, so that people are used to this idea, and then it's incorporated in our education system, so that it empowers the next generation to continue in this practice. And now, this is like the coolest thing I found in my research is TerraCycling. TerraCycling is actually a company TerraCycle, that you can collect trash, or you can get paid to collect trash. Actually, you send them in your stuff. It has to be clean, all that stuff. You can send in diapers. You can send in chewing gum, because chewing gum is actually a plastic product, and they can make new plastic products out of them. They can, they have a lot of people collecting garbage, and then that's units collected, and then that's they also give to charity. So not only are they doing something good for the environment, but they're giving to schools. About 2 cents of every unit of garbage is actually given to schools. So there you go, where it's full circle.
Okay, thank you everybody. Basically, this is what our conclusion. What we talked about, we raised awareness, we wrote a letter, we did personal things, we talked about the history, related problems, influences, and where and how to recycle.